I did very well at IBM. I became a manager by the time I was 28. And by the time I was 30, I was suicidal. I drank every night and could not. It was interfering with things. I came by it honest, it's from my culture, from my genetics. It's the Irish virus. I grew up in a neighborhood where one drinks. That's what one does. I left the bar with my buddy, and I had my 35 cents in my hand, and I couldn't decide between jumping in front of the L and buying a fish cake sandwich. And even after drinking for 5 hours, I realized that was faulty thinking. There's something wrong with your thinking. And to fix your thinking, you have to fix your drinking. And to fix your drinking, you have to call Alcoholics Anonymous. Next thing you know, I was in a meeting at half hour past midnight up in Northeast Philadelphia. The one fellow took me aside and said that I need you to stay sober and tell me how you did it so I will know how to do it too. And that's what started me in AA. Joseph Rael, my native teacher, I was very, very blessed to be able to spend as much time as I did with him. And I'd be sitting down there at his trailer in Bernalillo in New Mexico, and he would talk about the medicine wheel. And it became one of the important teachings for me. And the medicine wheel is the basis of all the ceremonies. I have embedded myself to some extent with Joseph and learned the medicine wheel from him. And I bring that back, translating that back to and integrating with the 12 steps and bringing that back to my 12-step communities is how I see myself fit. That I'm a translator, and my target language is people in 12 steps. We have these fixed action routines, these built-in ways of being, and that's what happens with addiction. Once that it becomes a pattern of being, that's it. The addiction has them. The person doesn't have an addiction. So the first thing has to be to interrupt the chain of behaviors that are associated with the addiction. You got to put a plug in the jug. You got to stop the drinking. You got to stop the using. Interrupt the chain of behaviors. That's an east. Then go to the south. You connect them with community and family. The south is also the place of family. You connect them with groups of people that will help them maintain keeping the chain of behaviors interrupted. When you were drowning and there wasn't anything there but the life preserver, that's a terrifying experience. So I really respect when people can move into any kind of recovery, like 12-step. Repeating the behavior was the only thing that brought them any kind of feeling of sanity or safety. And they have to let go of that to climb into recovery. And then once that safety is there, you can do the kind of work that repairs the original trauma. That's when real therapy happens. That's when the big stuff happens. From a psychological point, what happens in the sweat lodge is people become overwhelmed. They become, how can I say, out of their mind. So their prayers become unprepared. They will find themselves praying things that they didn't know that they would pray for. They will discover what it is that they want, what they need. They will discover that in the sweat lodge. Because when you're in the sweat lodge, it's hot, it's uncomfortable, it's cramped, it's dark. None of those things are things we like to do voluntarily. It's like you're running a marathon, and you're just sitting there. You've been sitting there for 25 minutes and already, and we're in the second direction maybe, and you're wondering, when can I get out of here? And you're paying it. Your body's screaming for attention so much that you're out of your mind. People say you must be used to it. No, there's no getting used to the suffering, the heat and discomfort. It's brand new every time, but I will easily give myself to the ceremony. I will give myself to the ritual that's happening. I will give myself to the story of the ceremony and allow those prayers to lead me. In the sweat lodge, we learn about a life of ritual. We learn about a life of doing things in a certain way, in an order. And in essence, we're practicing living. We're practicing thinking. We're practicing the order of things.